I'm fascinated by people's ability to not take on accountability. I never feel like my points of view and my thoughts and my hot takes and my passions and my story are right. I've never believed that in my life.
You're right.
Oh, I know I'm right. I don't think they're right.
I passed up on Uber. It's fine.
Gary Vee might be the most interesting person that exists. No hedge, hard stop. That's my opinion. While Gary Vee may be known as the hyperactive, toxic hustle culture king, he is nothing else if not grateful. For those of you who don't know Gary Vee, he is a Belarusian American entrepreneur who is best known as a social media influencer and the owner of Vaynermedia. This guy's got an estimated net worth of $200 million.
That's a lot of cheese.
And according to him, he claims that anybody who took a Saturday off in their 20s is taking more time off than he had during his entire 20s.
How much time did you have for yourself on Saturday and Sunday that was not working every minute? Tell me the truth.
A lot.
I know. So that's the punchline, right? Now imagine this, when I tell you this. You spent more downtime on not your career this weekend than I did in my entire 20s combined.
Okay, something to point out that really bothers me about this take is that he was born on November 14th, 1975, and was married on November 13th, 2004. I mean, I bring up this point to point out that Gary has some sort of weird dichotomy to his message. The public message that he peddles so often is to hustle hard and have no excuses, but also he talks about some very positive ways of approaching working hard. Like, I have never seen a guy go from telling people something like this.
Literally want to die instead of fail. Die, death, over. I do not know how to live in life. I do not know how to live in life. Live in life with an L in business on my resume. You should take defeat personally, period.
To something like this.
When people email me and say, Gary Vee, I've been hustling 15 hours a day. I'm like, you getting enough rest? You good? Are you pumped?
And just to reiterate, I just find it so interesting how somebody could be so absolutely sure in everything that he says when he says it. And he's 100% genuine from what I can tell. And from what he says, he's genuine. But he's just so back and forth. This guy talks about something that makes no sense where he says, I didn't take an entire day off. And then he got married at 29. I'm like, how did you tell me how you got that relationship to work? I want to hear that story. And then he's got this whole thing where he, watch the clip.
Who do you love the most in the world?
My family.
Good. Who in your family? Pick one.
All of them.
You're very politically correct. Cool. Every day, literally once a day, genuinely sit there for 5 minutes and make pretend one of them got shot in the face.
Okay, but the most interesting thing about all of this is the fact that he really is just doing it all based off of gratitude. I don't think he's kidding. When Gary Vee talks about all these different things and he has this weird back and forth, it seems to me that the main thing he's trying to peddle, which is actually really positive, is gratitude. Now, his gratitude may come through in some weird sort of toxic hustle culture productivity thing, but this is my overall opinion on Gary Vee's message. Gary Vee thinks everyone should work hard because Americans, or first world citizens, live in the best standard of living in human history, and if they can make the most of the time on this earth, they can build a life they are happy with.
I also think that when we start demonizing work ethic, we get into I think we are the byproduct of the last 10 years being so fruitful. You know, a lot of the people that push against me are venture-backed company founders who were able to raise $25 million over 4 years based on their idea by never running a profitable company. Not that they're wrong, I just think everybody has different perspectives.
You're right.
Oh, I know I'm right. I never think I'm right.
And surprisingly enough, I feel like if you really dive into Gary Vee's stuff, he doesn't think that you should kill yourself to work through things.
If you're like working 15 hours a day for a year because you're starting your videography business, that's probably okay. It does take work to start something. If you've achieved some level of success 3 years in, and you don't want to take it to a $10 million business from a $3 million business because you've fallen in love and you've started a family and you want to go to you want to play wiffle ball outside with your child, that's amazing. And so I think to answer your question, it's A, to do it for yourself, B, to know that it's going to ebb and flow.
So Gary Vee basically just peddles gratitude and says, I just want everyone to be grateful and give it their best effort because this is the best opportunity ever. I talk about this a lot with people, and it's kind of a weird conversation that I have, but I've always been of the opinion of being in poverty objectively, if you're at least out of debt. Being lower class American, you're still in the top like 1% of the world now, let alone standard of living like 100 years ago. You have all these different things that people didn't have before, and it seems like there's just this happiness and gratitude epidemic that he really does bring home, and I'm not against. Like, Gary, this might be your best message, and I guess I wanted to make this video because the man just has no filter and doesn't stick on this one thing that really is like the nice message. And I'm just like, dude, why do you gotta go between this?
Imagine not doing anything fun or going anywhere for the next 8 years, including Saturday and Sunday. That's what I did from 22 to 30. Every day I spent 15 hours a day in a liquor store.
And this.
I'm gonna do a much better job over the next half decade to say, look, this is how I see it. These are my circumstances. And I think I also am pretty aware of my happiness. And not that everybody has the same chemicals or circumstances, but I would feel remiss not to speak about what I see.
And you know, there's this like Teddy Roosevelt quote that I enjoy. It's like, comparison is the thief of joy. And to me, I don't think people realize that they're comparing to the current time frame when if you just move the needle a few years back. Like, for example, if somebody has an iPhone 13, 12, 11, something that's relatively new, and then a new iPhone comes out, then they're comparing it to the current iPhone. Dude, if I compare this to my iPod Touch 5 when I was a freshman in high school, my happiness in comparison does this. But if I think about somebody who has an iPhone 13 Pro, I go, oh. And it's like, what is that? But I feel like we could make a cognizant choice to just be more grateful. And Gary Vee's message here, when it comes to that, is pretty okay. Like, I'm down with that Gary Vee. The type of Gary Vee that I'm not down with is whatever this is.
Bro, I'd rip both my legs off and arms to be 25. On some real I'd give up everything I have to be 25, just to play again.
Gary, I love you. You might be one of my favorite people to exist, and I think you're just an hyperactive guy that has no filter. If you guys like this video, make sure to leave it a like, and check this one out right here. It's something I put a lot of work into, and I think you'd enjoy as well.